as when I was reserving. It was in, I'm pretty sure it was in Qatar, and I think I was in a Sauber. That was not last season, the season before. I was reserving in. And I didn't fully know the rules because it was my first ever F1 league, so I accidentally rated up early. And then I actually had one a couple of weeks ago I can't remember whether it was in Broke Boys or in a different league, but I just completely forgot about it and just readied up by accident. I took the fall. I think it might have been RPL actually. My guess is that we go at 22-9, but that's just a guess. Oh, but no, we're going now. 5 lights. And away we go. It's a long stand. A long stand on the grid for all the teams. Trust Football's made up 2 places. Is he going to keep them both, though? That's the thing. Nexus stays ahead of TXT in first. TXT has the inside line. Ozan looks like he's going to go round and take the position on the inside line into second. TXT's going to stay with him, actually. I didn't think he was going to stay with him. They're going to stay with each other side by side into this corner. Who can break the latest? Looks like it's going to be Ozan going around the outside. A lot of people are moving down in places. There's a massive, just a gaggle of cars that's sort of just kind of collecting each other. Lemon up to 7th place, making up a few positions off the start. It's a nice race start from the Saubers, both making up places. TXT won't be happy with dropping that place though. Zorro to P4. We'll have a look at Alright, so TXT's lost 1, Zorro has a, and Blex stayed in the same place. Lemon's gained 3, Ben's dropped 1, Shush Football's gained 2, Brannon's dropped 1. I take that back, Shush Football's gained 3. SA's gained 3, Crimsonic's dropped 4. Crimsonic's the big... Crimsonic's and Carnator. I was talking about in this race. Oh my god, there's some sort of collision or something happened. Someone ghosted. Lemon's dropped now 4 positions off that. He was in P7 and now he's in P11. I was talking about Carnator and Crimsonic and how they were probably one of the strongest teams on this grid, and they both dropped 2 places off the start. Nexus TXT has overtaken Ozan. They need to just sort of like get on with the race now, pull away, not fight. If they fight them, they're going to lose time to people behind. And there is a little bit of a gap starting to form between Hazza and Ozan. Everyone up to 10th. Everyone up to 10th is within DRS range of each other. 11th even further than that. Tyres wise, everyone apart from a few are on mediums. Most people have gone medium hard, I reckon. Some people have decided to invert that and go hard medium. Unless there's rain in this race, I have no idea. This is big though. For those hard runners, they need to just stay in the race, stay with the other cars, use the DRS. Because then if they, SA and Carnator fighting it out at the bottom there, Nexus, TXT has overtaken Nexus for the lead of the race. I know I'm a bit behind, I'm sorry about that. But that's big from TXT. He is now ahead. Now what they need to do, what the front 2 need to do, is move away from Ozan. Ozan is still there. He's just creeping currently. He's just there. They're fighting it out through the first couple corners. Nexus takes the inside line and overtakes TXT for the lead, or re-overtakes TXT for the lead, should I say. Look down here, Skullkiller, who is second in the championship, is currently in P14. Where's the championship leader? I'm trying to find him. I can't remember. Yeah, Kislesko is in P13. So both the championship rivals currently, who are tipped to win the championship, are in P13 and P14, which is not what they want. They want to be up here in at least the top 10. Nexus needs to look to either build a gap now to TXT or work with TXT to get away from Ozan. He had a bit of a moment coming out of that corner. Everyone hates that corner. Now he's going to try and stick in the middle of the track because that's where he says is the fastest, which probably is correct. They look so slow moving down this straight. As you can just look down the straight and see every car on the grid. This is great. Okay, Shush Football has actually gained a lot of places. If you can get one here, he'll be up like 5-6 places, I reckon, off of the start. Something's happened down at the back. Again, it's just a mess at the back. It's just a... Oh, Nexus and TXT are fighting. Must be around the first corner. Yeah, it is. Nexus has kept the position. But Ozan is now there. And Ozan is also dragging Hazard. So there's a gap now between Blex in 5th and Hazard in 4th. There are other moves around. Crimsonic has moved up and is now at the front of that pack of cars. Hopefully he can get away whilst everyone else is fighting. Lemon's moving up the grid. So there's contact. Is the damage on one of the two cars? I don't know. I can't see currently from here, but I don't think there is. I think we're okay. But this horde of cars is it's not great for the people who are in the middle of it because they're being slowed down by the cars in front and can't make progress. So Lemon's in the middle of that, and he's just kind of waiting for the right moment. He's basically pushing the cars ahead up the road, but then something happens and he just loses the time to the cars behind. Shush Football's making a move on Brannin. On the main straight, it's just going to be a DRS fest down here now. Everyone's going to arrive at the hairpin together. Top four remain the same. Shush Football moving up another position. Is there contact? It was very, very close. Shush Football has been moving up a lot in the first stage, in the first part of this race. Nexus stays ahead at TXT as he gets that dose of DRS, but Nexus only has 30% ERS. TXT only has 46%, whereas Ozan and Hazard, well, Ozan's got the most ERS out of everyone. SA has moved up to P15 ahead of WA Brewdog. Skullkiller, who is one of the championship contenders, is out of the points. This is good for Kislesko, who is only just in the points. He's at the back of this pack. That probably takes him into the top 10 if he can overtake everyone here. Shush Football and Zorro are having a titanic fight. On one of the corners you don't want to have a fight on. And Shush Football has lost it all on that curb. He risked it for a biscuit and lost it all. Never take that man to a casino. He will lose it all. Oh my god. All that work from Shush Football. And he drops down to P16, P17. And loses all the work he just made up in those first 5 laps. I mean, now there is a massive gap between the top 4 and 5th and 6th. They're fighting now. Ozan's up into 1st. There's a massive fight for the top 4 here. Ozan looks like he's going to take the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix going into the last corner. Pushes Nexus wide, which opens it up for TXT and Hazard. Nexus going into the corner with the straight was in 1st place. Coming into the final, coming onto the pit straight, He's in fourth. He's gone from first to fourth in probably, what, 3 corners. This is... Lemon's moving up now. Ozan needs to just, I don't know, try and stay with TXT. Cannot be fighting Hazard. Because they can't let TXT pull away. Because if TXT pulls away, then it's his race. If he gets out of the DRS and just goes, it is his race. But Shush Football, he had it all in his hands. He was up to P7 from, I can't remember where he started, and then just loses it on the curb and ends up down in P16, sorry. 5 positions, so he started P11 up to P7 and then loses it all down into P16. He just got too much on the curb. Meanwhile, TXT has broken the DRS to Hazard. Now, I said just a minute ago that if TXT could break that DRS, that he could just then pull away, and this race could possibly be his for the taking. Nexus, a lap ago, was in first place and is now in fourth, and can't even make a move on Ozan or Hazard because they both have. Well, Ozan has DRS off of Hazard, who doesn't have DRS because TXT broke away. Now, I think from now on, if TXT can just stay composed here, there are other moves being made. Carnotaur's gone up past Cheesy D. If TXT can just stay composed, stay nice and neat, and just build that gap slowly, this race surely has to be his. Unless there's a safety car or rain, maybe as a strategy call, he could get it wrong. Realistically, a couple seasons back, I had a race here, and I don't know, I pitted stupidly. I pitted with the leaders. It was the wrong strategy call in the end, and I ended up losing the race because of that. But no, apart from... So obviously there's a gap to second, 1.6 seconds now in that gap. And then there's a gap from 4th to 5th, Crimsonic. Looks like he's kind of overtaken that pack and is now trying to just pull away from Blex. And you get into that front pack. And then there's a 4.4 second gap from Branning to Blex, which Lemon is honing in on. Branning now only has 7% ERS. The ERS management is non-existent in this race. These drivers, I know they're in tier 4 and everything, but I thought there'd be at least some management like Crimsonic, who's gone off track but has 76% ERS, which you can use to his advantage to stay ahead. Nexus has gone up to 2nd place, overtaking Ozan in the first couple corners of the race track. He's basically pushing Nexus through this part of the track. This is helping TXT just pull away a little bit as those two are fighting at the front. And moves happening around me. Carnotaur's got back ahead of Cheesy D. Material Germ has got ahead of Skullkiller. Skullkiller is having a really, really bad race fighting with Material Germ. Fighting with London, sorry. He has had a really horrible race so far. He needs this for the championship as well to stay within reach of Kislesko. I did say that if Kislesko wanted to pull away, this could be one of the tracks he does it at. Now what Kislesko has to do is he just has to make up positions slowly and calmly. Just make up those positions, gain places, gain points on Skullkiller, which is his main championship rival, who is now out of the points. TXT is 1.5 seconds ahead of Nexus. That gap is slowly coming down. Nexus has got back into the controlling seat of the top 4. Second to 4th. And he's now just trying to manage his pace and just pull away a little bit from the cars, from Ozan and Hazard. Takes the esports line, which I'm not commenting on, to be honest. I don't like, to be honest with you, because you have to cut across back to the track and then you're a bit off it. Kislesko has pit. It looks like he's going on to... I think he might be going to hards. Trying to do the undercut. Cheesy D has lost positions. What's happened here? Or it might just be the fighting in the first sector. Looks like he has a good pit stop. Has he pit onto hards? He has. Right, so he has pit onto hards. It's only taken those mediums 8 laps, which is surprising. It's a bit early to be pitting onto hards in this race. Is he going to try and take them the whole way? Surely not. It's been an eventful race so far, I can tell you that. There's been a lot of lead changes. If that top 4 can just stay together, it might look up. There might be a fiery end to this race. Nexus is really gaining on TXT though. Ozan's kind of just sitting behind him like he should, using that DRS to his advantage. Not overtaking him, but kind of just sitting there. Or is he going to go for the overtake? Nope. Shush Football with a 3-second time penalty. Also Skull Killer with a 3-second time penalty, which is not going to help his race. He's in a bad position as it is, and then, yeah, it's not going to help his race. Zorro, W Brewdog, Cheesy D, and Shush Football all pitting. No one getting a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pits, which is what we like to see. Look, it looks like they're going on to hards now in this race. Maybe trying to go for the little undercut. Obviously, they're not going to undercut each other because they all pit at the same time. But maybe the car's in front. Lemon's up to 8th. Just out of reach from Brandon. Brandon looks to have escaped Lemon as he's just trying to conserve here. Just trying to bide his time. Because Brandon's on hards. So Brandon will just pull away from Lemon here. So everyone behind Lemon, Carnator and Ben Wally, need to... I think Ben's on hards as well. So hopefully... The gap's gone back up from Nexus to TXT now. Up to 1.3 from 1.1, 1.2. Still has Ozan and Hazard behind him. Crimsonics in this kind of this sort of world of their own with Blex, and then it's with Brannin and Carnator, who's pit. No, I don't think he has pit. Lemon's been overtaken then by Carnator. Lemon's also been overtaken by Ben, but obviously he's going into pits. Let's see if this is a good pit stop for Lemon. He really needs a good pit stop here to get a successful undercut. Shush Football is getting a position at the back. Shush Football was on for a really good point at the start of this race. He had a cracking first 7 laps and then lost it on the curb when he's trying to make an overtake. Skull Killer's now pitting as well, it looks like, which puts him plumb last in this race. Lemon has come out in front of London, which is exactly what he wants. He doesn't want to be behind London in this race, because then that means he's going to have traffic, which is going to slow him down. Okay, so it's about 50-50 now with the tyres. Some people, the front 6 are still on their 10-lap old mediums, with a couple of others like Carnator and SA still on their mediums, trying to keep the pace. And then Brannin, Ben Wally, and Material, Germ, and London all started on their hards. Oh, Ozan's overtaken Nexus. They're all pitting. How's TXT pit? TXT is not pit. TXT is going to carry on going. Everyone else is going to try and make the undercut. Hazard isn't pit either. Ozan and Nexus are going to try and make the undercut on TXT and Hazard. Which, surely TXT and Hazard have to pit next lap to respond to that. Otherwise, they will just lose a load of time to the cars, to Ozan and Nexus. GZD gets a 3-second time penalty. Daniel says in the Tier 5 race chat that TXT is flying. He really is in this race. He isn't a Tier 4 driver. Well, he should be in Tier 4 realistically. He's currently a full-time Tier 5 driver though, which I am as well. And he is way quicker than me. He should be in Tier 4 realistically. I don't know whether it's if it's in space or I don't know, but he should be in Tier 4. Let's be honest. Has a 2.5. It's kind of little gaps now because everyone's in the middle of pitting. Some people haven't pit yet, obviously. The top 7 haven't pit. The 10th and 11th haven't pit yet. Yeah, if we look here. Penalties wise, 3 seconds all around for Shush Football, Cheesy D, and Skullkiller. Skullkiller has had a really bad race. It's just not been great for Skullkiller. Shush Football needs to. Zorro's also had quite a bad race as well, dropping 12 positions. Hazard and Blex have pitting out. TXT is still not pit. Crimsonic up into second. Brandon up into third. Ben up into fourth. Obviously, they've not pit yet. But surely this means that Ozan and Nexus are going to gain that position on TXT. Because they were only a second and a half off. And it's been, 2 laps since they pit now. So surely Nexus and Ozan, if they don't fight, Hazard's there as well. Surely TXT has to pit now, this lap, to maybe even just stay in front. I doubt he'll even stay in front, though. We'll watch him as he comes around the final corner. Will he go straight into the pits? He does. This is going to be huge. Nexus, Ozan and Hazard are coming down the main straight, or the back straight, sorry. Coming into the hairpin now. As TXT is in his pit box. They're coming up to the final corner just about now. I think he's actually going to get out in front, you know. It's going to be close. It's going to be really, really close. Nexus and Ozan have overtaken TXT. He's come out 1.4 seconds behind. So he lost, 3 seconds in that. Because they pit before him. They undercut him. Obviously, he's going to have that extra few laps tyre to use. Zorro's retired from the race in the pits, which is good. We'd like to see that. But that was silly from TXT. He's probably going to humble me and then finish the race ahead of them because of the tyre wear. But Ozan and Nexus have taken that position now. When Ben Wally and Brandon pit, who are on hards, so they're going to go long. They're probably going to go till lap 15, I reckon, 16. Maybe even longer. Nexus and Ozan will be ahead, but maybe TXT has the pace because he has it's taken that gap down from 1.4 to 9/10. He is now within DRS of Ozan. I don't know if Ozan should overtake here and try and just pull away whilst overtake Nexus and then push Nexus into TXT so they fight, or which I think is what he's going to do. Nexus has that inside line. Now it goes to Ozan. Ozan has that inside line now. And now with them fighting through that first sector, has brought TXT into play here. 6/10. behind. I think Ozan now is going to sit there, get his elbows out, and just put Nexus into TXT. So then hopefully those two fight, and he can just get away. This is your provisional race lead right here. Well, your top three: Ozan, Nexus, TXT. Ben Wally and Brannin have not pit yet. WA Brewdog is fighting with Cheesy D at the bottom. And then there are more. Just the field spread is quite big. Yeah, I was expecting Skullkiller to retire in this race. To be honest with you, he's just not. He's not been with it. And it's sad because he's one of the championship contenders. I think he's in second at the minute in the championship. Will put a yellow flag out there, which is a bit stupid if you ask me, because he obviously retired in the pits. Ozan did go a little bit wide there. Looks like he's going to stick to the inside line. The Nexus comes round and gets the overtake done before the corner. Leaves Ozan open to TXT, which doesn't happen because something must have happened. He must have had to brake. But Hazard, who was there at the pit stops, is now actually dropped 3 seconds behind TXT, Ozan, and Nexus. Nexus is in the controlling position in this race currently. They're obviously going to catch up to Ben and Brannin because they're on much fresher tyres. Zorro has left because he retired a while back. But yeah, this race is currently simmering. Oh, there's a yellow flag at the back here between Cheesy D and Brewdog. There must have been some sort of contact. Didn't quite catch it, but I did see the yellow flag. But yeah, this is the battle right here. TXT, Ozan, and Nexus for the lead. Ben Wally and Rip Brannin are obviously not pit yet. Ozan's going to go for the move. It's a bit late. The lunge is late, but I think he gets it done. No, he doesn't. They stay behind. Well, Ozan stays behind Nexus, but he goes for that move. He went for that move a bit late, and they decided to back out of it. But it looks like TXT now is going to go for a move on Ozan. Picked his moment. I think he's got the move, unless Ozan can stay around that outside, which he can't. TXT has picked his moment and picked off Ozan, who is currently provisionally P3. Now TXT has to just wait until probably even the last lap of the race if he wants to, and make that move. Cheesy D has retired from the session in the pits. Nexus is being held up here by Ben, which is not great. Not great for him anyway, because it's condensing everyone else behind him, TXT and Ozan. It's all condensing them. Maybe TXT can get a move here because of Ben. Ben is holding Nexus up like mad. Or can Nexus use this to his advantage and put a car in between him and TNT just for the moment? Or are they going to go 3 wide? They might go 3 wide. Nope. Nexus overtook Ben. And TXT has also overtook Ben, which is bad for Ozan. Ozan's got through as well. I was about to say, if Ozan doesn't clear Ben, that's really bad for Ozan because then it separates him from the front too. But Ben was going to lose those positions. Now he's pit because obviously he didn't pit before. He's took those 18 laps though, so he can have a nice short stint now on his mediums for 10 laps. That's not really a short stint, but yeah, it's a decent stint. Just Football is up in 7th. Just Football looks to have... Has he pit yet? Yeah, he has. Okay, so he looks to have reignited his race after that little bit of a moment that he had. He looks to have brought it back to P7. Up 4 positions. Carnotaur's up 5. Kisles goes up 5. And most importantly, he's almost in the points. He's in 11th, which has gained more points because he was in 13th. So he's gained a couple more points off of that. Which any points he gets here will help him in the battle with Skullkiller. Nexus has DRS on TXT. Pulls out. Has a look. Is he going to go for it? He is. He's going to go for the move. Late braking. Gets the move originally, but then the switch back from TXT, he has probably the better traction out of that corner, meaning he loses the position, and they stay as they were before that corner. Nexus is going to go for it again. He's really trying to put the pressure on TXT here. TXT goes on the inside line. He's going to take that position unless Nexus can hold it. Can he hold it till this bit? He can. Now Nexus has the inside line. And they're still neck and neck out of those corners. It's going to be the last of the late breakers here. Who could break the latest? Nexus breaks the latest. And slots his way into P1. With TXT behind. Who may not have seen that coming. He probably saw the first bit down the long straight, but probably didn't see the second bit coming into the first corner. Ozan just sits there and waits. He's hoping that the front two have a collision and he can just sit there and go through, like George Russell in Austria last season in real life. That's what he's doing right now. He's doing a George Russell. The front two are Lando and Max, and he is George Russell. But yeah, the field spread is massive. Material Germ and London are completely out of this race. 14 seconds to Brewdog, who is in a land of his own. TXT has gone for the lunge and made it stick, I think. They're still side by side. These two are properly fighting hard for this first place. Now, I don't know if they're just DRS swapping or if they're genuinely trying to fight hard, but it looks like they're fighting pretty hard. TXT maybe a burnt some ERS there just to stay ahead a little bit. How's the ERS looking? So, okay, Nexus and Ozan are on about the same amount. And then TXT is obviously burnt quite a bit there, but he's recharged it, to be fair to him. They're all on about 30%. Ben has just set the new fastest lap of the race, which is probably expected because he's probably on the newest tyres in the race. We'll turn that off now. So there's the front three, and then there's Hazard in his own dreamland, Crimsonic in his own dreamland, then Blex, who is within DRS of Crimsonic, to be fair, so maybe Crimsonic's not in his own dreamland. Carnotaur in 7th, he overtook Shush Football. Can Shush Football maybe get the overtake back? No moves happening here. Maybe Nexus might shape up a move on the first corner. Sorry if anyone's put anything in chat. My chat isn't working. It's just giving me a rotating circle, which isn't great. Can Nexus do something here? Doesn't look like he's just going to sit behind, use that DRS to just try and pull away from Ozan, who is now 6/10 behind. Obviously not far behind, but further behind than the other two are to each other. Hazard's on a penalty, Crimsonic's on a penalty, Shush Football's on a penalty, who's now been overtaken by Carnotaur again. These two are fighting hard for the position. They might have touched tyres there. Shush Football has the better line, but then when it comes to this corner, Carnotaur has the better line. But the more those two fight, that brings Lemon into the battle. Can Lemon make these positions up? He's on a bit of a hot streak recently, points wise. He got second in the race before Monza. I can't remember what that race was, and then he got he got 4th in Monza, which is pretty decent. It's pretty decent points for him. All he needs to do now is maybe pick one off, or wait for the right moment to pick one off. The top 3 are as they were, still stuck behind each other, with 7 laps left to go in this race. Nexus is going to have to shape up for a move soon. Maybe I'll just leave it to the last lap and wait. Save up always the RS. Because he's got 70% now, Nexus does. Ozan has 44. TXT has 11% ERS. That could be a concern for him. Nexus is staying within that 5 tenths, and has considerably more ERS to use. That will be bad for TXT if TXT doesn't start recharging. But obviously it's hard for TXT to recharge because he needs to stay in front. But yeah, the field spread is massive. The only really big group of cars that are together are the front pack and this pack of Carnotaur, Shush Football, Lemon, Ben Wally and Brannin. Ben actually got the overcut on Brannin. Brannin pit earlier than Ben did, unless he overtook him. But Ben pit later than Brannin did, and is now in front. He's sending it down the other side of Lemon. Can he make the move stick? I don't know why it's this camera. Goes off track. Lemon will have him for that, I think. No damage though, which is good. Nexus is overtaking. Oh my god, I missed this. Nexus is overtaking TXT. Can he make it stick down this main? If he makes it stick down this main straight, that is huge. Using all the RS to his advantage. TXT is on 24%. Nexus is on 44%. Arzan is sat there with 30% ERS. Looks like he's going to keep the position, Nexus. I can't believe I missed that overtake. Anyway. We move. Nexus is going to keep the position out the first couple corners. With 5 laps left to go in this race. Kislas goes down into 13th now from 11th. He's lost a couple of points, but still 13th is still a couple of points, and any points will help him in this title fight. But the field is quite spread out right now. So there's not really much to talk about apart from this main battle at the front and the big battle in the midfield. Lemon is now behind Rip Brannin because of probably the contact he made with Ben Wally in the middle sector. TXT has overtaken Nexus because of the lack of DRS that he had. Is this going to be it for the race? I think what I would do if I was Nexus, I would just stick behind TXT and then use all of his battery on the last lap of the race and go for the overtake. They're both on the same amount of tires. They're both on the same tires. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Nexus is. TXT has 2 laps more in his tires, so his tires are a little bit more healthy than Nexus's are and Ozan's, which could become a factor here if TXT can now just pull away. He's 9 tenths clear of Nexus. I don't know what happened there. No penalties for the top 3. 6 seconds for Material Germ, 3 seconds for London, 3 seconds for Shush Football, Crimsonic and Hazard. 8 tenths now to Nexus, behind for TXT. Can TXT actually pull away here? Like he did at the start of the race, break that second, and then just fly. If TXT wins this race, surely that cements him as a tier 4 driver. He should get moved up. He's clearly quick enough to be at the top of tier 4. Carnotaur has gained the most positions so far in this race. Second material germ. I say that. But if TXT wins this race, he'll most likely be driver of the day because of the amount of pressure he's had to hold up with here. The amount of pressure he's had to handle through this race. There were points where we thought, oh, he's going to run away with it now. But no, Nexus and Ozan stayed with him. If he wins this race, which still could happen, but also still could not, then it's going to be big. But Ozan and Nexus's tyres are probably going to start hurting soon. Obviously, TXT's are 2 laps fresher. There's a little battle here, I guess, with Hazard, Crimsonic, and Blex. Benoit is at the front of this pack. Lemon has caught up, well, has overtaken Brannin, who has now just like kind of died off a little bit. TXT is still, Hazard has lost the position to Blex. TXT is still ahead. Ozan maybe trying to make a move on Nexus. Maybe he thinks that that first place isn't going to happen for Nexus, so he just needs to get the points. Maybe go for P2, gain more points for Sauber. All TXT has to do now is just do what he did for that last lap, for 2 more laps. Hopefully the tyre wear kicks in for Ozan and Nexus, and then TXT will become the race winner. I don't know if he's won a race in Tier 4 before. Let me just have a quick look. He hasn't won a race in Tier 4 before, so he'll become a Tier 4 race winner if he wins this race. Which he's just managing at the minute. He's just managing the race. 8/10 away from, from Nexus. Just managing it nice and slowly. Taking it lap by lap. This gap's, well, there's starting to be a gap here between the cars that were together and the front 3 of this. So Ben, Carnotaur, and Shush Football have kind of moved away from the front, the other 2 behind. TXT has survived both DRS zones again, going on to the penultimate lap. Mr. Consistent this race. He's just consistently been putting those laps in. Definitely looking for a step up. Two races ago, he was P8. He finished P8 2 races ago. But maybe he's not as far away from Nexus as he was last lap. Maybe Nexus can put a move in here. DRS kicks in about now. Maybe Nexus can do something here. 4/10 and gaining 3/10. Stays ahead of TXT. Of Nexus, sorry. Obviously. Ozan's dropped back. Is now a second and a half behind behind Nexus. So it's just Nexus and TXT for this race fight. Looks like TXT is going to survive the first couple corners of this race. This lap. On his last lap, can he become a Tier 4 race winner? It's either going to be him or Nexus. Can only be one by one, as the legendary Crofty said. Ben Wally's making up positions, maybe on Carnator. They're fighting it out, and it's in the mid pack. 5/10 to Nexus now. That gap going into the straight was 6/10 last lap. It needs to be around that again for Nexus to not make a move. It looks like it's going to be 5, maybe even 6. It is 6/10, only just. Is it enough to hold Nexus off? Maybe, maybe not. Nexus moves out. Overtakes TXT. Can TXT do anything special here to gain the position back? Don't think he can. It's gone to Nexus. We thought it was going to be TXT, but no, it's Nexus. Nexus wins the Chinese Grand Prix in Tier 4. So your top 3 is Nexus, TXT, Ozan, and then outside of that is, obviously when the penalties have done their thing, it's Blex, Crimsonic, Hazard, Shush Football, Brannin, Carnator, Lemon. Oh, no. Lemon, Ben, Carnator, SA. Oh, SA's overtaken Carnator because of the fucking, what's it called? Penalties. Kiss Let's Go crosses the line now. Overtakes Carnator. Carnator must have got a lot of penalties. WA Brewdog crosses the line now. London and then Material Germ to finish off your Chinese Grand Prix for Tier 4. What a race. Went right down to the wire. Nexus takes the win. Well done to everyone who was that is all from me. We'll see you all next week. Bye bye.